Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Sir Marvin. We are the Group 4.
Ato, 3 lang.
Good afternoon once again. So, I believe that you already know the geographical location, area, and description of Singapore, since it was already tackled and discussed by the previous groups last meeting and earlier. So, today, let's delve into the language planning in Singapore. So, imagine that you were in a classroom setting, you were the teacher, and all of your students came from different ethnicities with different cultural backgrounds, and you are going to have a group activity. May it be included in brainstorming. So, what do you think will happen if ang imong mga estudyante nila yung mga backgrounds, nila yung language, dapat sila common or communication or magsilang sila?
No.
Of course, no. So, as a teacher, kung saan yung buhakon?
Find a way.
Of course, you will find ways. And pwede ka mag-integrate of language policy. Whether it's going to be English, Filipino, or any kind of language na pwede nyo mag-implement sa imong classroom. And that's what happened in Singapore. So let's delve into the language planning in Singapore. The study of language planning in Singapore delves deep into the nuanced social-political landscape that has shaped the country's multilingual and bilingual policies. So the historical context of Singapore's development lays from a humble fishing village up to a thriving trading port. So, bayad pa lamang na siya nga pangisdaan sa ilang lugar kung naabot ako naman ng develop ang country, hindi mo siya pantalan sa mga ibang klase ng mga business. So, dahil siya trading port sa Singapore, that's why Singapore is one of the richest countries in the whole world.
So moving forward, let's talk about the synopsis of the paper. So Patrick Nang's study entitled Language Planning in Action, Singapore's Multilingual and Bilingual Policy investigates Singapore's strategic use of language planning to promote economic development and cultural preservation. So the government established a multilingual policy in which English is designated as the working language for economic growth, while the ethnic mother tongues such as Mandarin, Malay, and Tamil are assigned to their own groups to preserve cultural identity. Furthermore, the bilingual policy requires students to study English as well as their ethnic mother tongue to establish or to preserve cultural bonds. However, the study investigates that English has grown dominant in most aspects of society, causing challenges in maintaining true bilingualism and the preservation of ethnic languages. So that's it.
So now to continue, we have the critical points. So we have found 3 critical points about often studies. First, we have the language planning in Singapore. So in Singapore, language planning involves the promotion of English, Mandarin, Tamil, Malay as part of our national identity and communication strategy. At the macro level, policies and norms are established to guide language use in education, government, and in media. For instance, English is often emphasized as the lingua franca to foster unity among diverse ethnic groups. However, this macro-level focus can lead to a disconnect at the micro level where actual language use occurs. So in everyday interactions, individuals might not adhere strictly to these prescribed norms due to personal preferences, cultural influences, or practical considerations. So for example, many Singaporeans code switch between languages and dialects. So reflecting to a more fluid linguistic reality that differs from the official policies.
And now let's move on to the multilingual policy, also known as the Republic of Singapore Independence Act of 1965. It's designated English, Mandarin, Tamil, and Malay as the 4 languages of Singapore. Now, so what is the goal of this policy? part of Singapore's economic success due to its power. For example, ang economic success is kailangan mo sa sigaw sa TikTok na?
Wala.
Kay Singaporean.
Yeah. Isa, kinsa.
Hindi ka na siya sigaw sa TikTok. Singaporean. Due to that,
Fact check.
he made TikTok so global, so muna siya part of the success sa Singapore. Now, let's move on to the cons of this policy. In this policy, we have the language homogenization. Are you familiar with the word homogenization?
No.
Margin, asa?
Homogenization. So language homogenization is when a certain language is pataas, apuan, wala na, pasadaan na lang. Mura siyang na set aside na lang, homogenization. A certain territory, dapat usbig sila kuhanan a certain na language. Pero what if ang certain na territory na ay lain na languages diha? So, pero mag-set aside niya po sila sa unsay na Manila. So, example, dito sa Singapore, ilang i-maintain ang Mandarin. Pero what if ang Hokkien, ang Cantonese, kumuhaan sila nga dapat punilahan, Filipino punilahan. So, what if po sa Tamil, ay Punjabi, na apoy, ay Punjabi na ilalay na kumuhaan sa Indian. So, mana siya, what the homogenization. Na ang kumuhaan siya, specific lang siya ng lugar, na light language, pero ang buwan na languages ay wala na the service. So that's it.
Okay, so now we are at the last critical points in our group. So the last one is the bilingual policy. So the bilingual policy was implemented in the year 1966 to address the dominance of English and its potential negative cultural influences. So this policy aims to foster inter-ethnicity, interactions, and reduce inequalities in occupational achievements. So here in bilingual policy, it mandates students to learn English as their first language and their mother tongue as their second language. Why, you may ask? Because English serves as the bridge for all the ethnic group in Singapore, showing unity while maintaining cultural preservation. So basically, here in bilingual policy, ang English nila dapat siyang gamit dito sa ilahang panahon ng dominance ng English.
So now let's proceed to the relevance of the language planning policy of Singapore to their society and also the comparison of the language planning policy of Singapore and to the language planning policy of the Philippines. So now let's proceed to the relevance of the language planning policy of Singapore to their society and the comparison of the language planning policy of Singapore and to the language planning policy of the Philippines. So here, can you please read?
English is recognized as the language of technology and economic development.
Crucial for Singapore's growth.
So, under the implementation of the language planning policy in Singapore, it has increased the economic development and the nation building. So, the government of the Singapore nakakuan sila, nagsawa sila na pag-implement sa overall policy, which is the multilingual policy and the bilingual policy. And the bilingual policy sa pag-implement nila Singaporeans became more able to be more competitive. They have achieved the top spots in the international global market. So because of this, they use English as their medium sa bilingual policy. But also, nasa pros and cons ng pagkuha na na-implement. Cons is, upon implementing the bilingual policy, ang ilahang mga new generations nag-lisod o kanang learn sa ilang mother tongue and they became more fluent na noon sa English, sinundan na natabungan na ang pagkakos nila ng mother tongue. So ilang society, though mas competitive man in terms of competitions using English language, but mas nalubong sila akan using their mother tongue. And in the multilingual policy, can you please read this sentence?
Despite the official motherland based on mother's ethnicity, All languages spoken in Singapore are valued and promoted, fostering a multilingual and inclusive society.
So, about the implementation of a multilingual policy sa ilang society is that as they have seen the future potential of English language, they also respect the richness of their culture and their language. And in the comparison of the language planning policy of Singapore and the Philippines, sa Philippines we have our one official languages, which is the Filipino language, and we have our second language na ang English language. Compared to the Singapore and as like 4 languages using na ang English. So because of that, bisan pa dahil lahi yung language planning policy ng every nation, ning-excel ka differently. We Filipinos na-excel ka sa atong kanang usage of English through the communication. We are fluent in English in communicating to our kanang foreigners, especially kanang atong country is very kanang daghan na siya tourist attraction. So as English more medium, we're able to kanang i-grow ang ating economy because of the usage of English. Therefore, meanwhile sa Singapore is they use language